by a wonder goal. They have not had too many clear-cut chances. Brandon Peterson is by far the quieter of the two goalkeepers, but he can face a bit of a barrage here. Longwell gets a free kick. Got caught by Cole Alexander. Quickly taken as well. Gola says the ball was not stationary, so he wants it taken again. Just a word on Victor Gomez, wonderful career, of course.
would have thought about this particular encounter, said, man, players that are potentially could be suspended, you'd rather have them on the bench or not even participating in that encounter leading up to this particular fixture, because you'd need a player who's going to give you 110%, not somebody who's going to shy away from tackles thinking that, hey, I'm sitting on 2 yellow cards. If I get the third, I'm out. So those things you need to manage, and it's just a mindset of preparation. You can't overlook the fact that all the players wanted to be part of this game.
Yeah, tell us about that mindset, because you've both experienced it, a cup competition, a cup game of this magnitude, what that mental psyche is like for the players building up to it. Like Jimmy says, you all want to play, regardless of any niggles that you're carrying.
My man, Carol, you whatever pain that you're feeling in the morning, you make sure that you sort it out first thing first. And I think it's one of those games, even if you have a niggly injury or whatever pain that you're feeling, it's a game that you want to play. But also what helps as well is, we always speak about form matters not in such fixture, but momentum also help. And you look at this fixture, a lot of players coming with a momentum. So as players, you're coming with so much hype and so much confidence because you know that you got the momentum going. And also you've got a point to prove. You haven't won this fixture in a while. So a lot of players, from a point of view, I think they are more determined to win this game. But from a player's point of view, I think a lot of players need to continue with the momentum that they have.
Yeah, I think that Amakosi can also argue the fact that they are more determined because they haven't been having much luck and much joy in terms of the league campaign. Sure, they don't have that kind of momentum like Orlando Pirates coming into this clash, but perhaps this is the encounter that can turn it all around for them. Okay, can we for the very first time go to the venue? Yeah, Asesoka City, standing by there, Upumlani Msibi, who is really, really excited about this clash. Booms, can you believe it? A semi-final matchup like this that's pitting the two most successful teams in the Nedbank Cup together. History.
It's a rivalry like no other. It's the Soweto derby, big prize at stake. It's an opportunity for one of these teams to advance to the finals of the Nedbank Cup. We know that story, but it's the pressure, it's the tension. I want to show you a couple of things though, because if you're talking about weather conditions, absolutely perfect, well set up for what should be a fantastic game of football. The weather has played along nicely. This is interesting. The FNB Stadium is sold out. The fans are still coming into the stadium, of course. I'm looking at the pitch largely because just 7 days ago, exactly, it was a Saturday. There was the monster jam here. You wouldn't recognize the field, but the fantastic work done yet again by the groundsman here, stadium management. It's an absolutely immaculate. These are some of the key players that you can see on the starting 11 of both these teams. Immensely talented rivals. Well, the fans are ready. The singing and the chanting in the stands continue. You know that the conditions are set for what should be, just in terms of the intensity in the stands on the field of play. Now, behind me, Peterson, the goalkeeper of Kaizer Chiefs, he starts today. He's already out warming up alongside Vincent Vuma and the goalkeeper coach. But even as I say that, you see the both players warming up right now. The Orlando Pirates goalkeeping team has just walked in, led by Mponchander, of course. If you're looking at the other side, it's Chayine. He's fired up for this game. He has been one of those who has brought the right balance to the Orlando Pirates defense, to the Orlando Pirates last line of defense. This is the Soweto derby. This is the Nedbank Cup Kiona. Everything to play for. It's a knockout game. The fans continue to come in. It's set up for what should be a fantastic, great game of football. Let the FNP start. Nedbank Cup Kiona. Shaba.
I just got goosebumps, Pooms. Mamela, sold out affair. And you just touched on the galaxy of stars on offer for both Kaizer Chiefs as well as Orlando Pirates. And then, of course, our biggest asset in the local game, the football fans making their way into the venue. is the new drama series. Shaka Ilembe launches on DSTV on Sunday, the 18th of June, featuring star-studded cast, really the who's who of South African drama. Oh, Nomzamo Mbata, Wiseman Mube, Temiko Simtembu, Senzo Khatebe, Mondli Makhoba, Lebogang Tiba. The list goes on and on. So make sure you make a date to see this epic origin story of King Shaka. It's one not to miss.
AC Milan take on city rivals Inter. The UEFA Champions League semi-finals. Every game, every glittering moment, live on SuperSport on DSTV. It's modern art. There we are, live and in HD. Only on SuperSport on DSTV.
In Premier League, match week 30.
Is the scoreline and not how you get there. Into the corner. Ferguson flicks it in. So much at stake here in both teams. Let the stress begin. Credit Johnson scores. Adams.
The Premier League, live it all. Live on SuperSport. Stay connected to DSTV for football's greatest season. Broadcast brought to you by Discovery and Budweiser. Yours to take.
It's modern art, Serie A, live and in HD. Only on SuperSport on DSTV. Spinner winner from World Sports Betting brings the excitement of Vegas to your your doorstep. Choose from hundreds of games. Enjoy special vote. Your one-stop gaming destination.
That you should continue sending in your best. Continues as Soccer City is filling up for this one. A reminder of the starting lineups as the two Giants, the Soweto Giants, gear up for this intense battle. Jimmy?
Yeah, no, a very interesting lineup. The fact that they have Frosler and Solomons in the same lineup, I think it paints a very contrasting picture for how Chiefs wants to play this game.
Yep, and especially seeing as they haven't had much joy this last month in the league, it's time to shake things up dramatically as well when it comes to the cup competition. Orlando Pirates, you talked about them having the ascendancy, having the continuity. Is this reflective of that?
It is indeed. I mean, they take precautions during the week to make sure that they rested the players that they need in this game. Tapolo Koki, who was on the bench and during the week, is 3 yellow cards, so he comes to today's game knowing that he can play freely as well. But yet again, Kemi Erasmus starting with Juga Mandi will be very interesting as to how they set themselves up with Saleng, of course, on the right-hand side.
That's right. Players forms coming into this one with another visit, of course, to Soccer City, as Upumlani Msibi will expound a little bit more on the lineups for
the
these
pace of Solomon. What are they trying to do? Are they trying to pin Marco from overlapping?
Welcome back to the FNB Stadium. It's all set. At this point in time, I'm joined by Pumuzo, manager Pumuzo. Even as I welcome you to this fantastic atmosphere, first the atmosphere, but secondly, key components for this game.
I think the atmosphere is second to none. When you look at the tactics that both teams will be using in today's game, they surprised all of us. You're looking at Orlando Pirates that is starting with 2 strikers for the appearance. But I want the space in behind their back four.
This is the starting lineup of Kaizer Chiefs, who are coming out here as the home team. They'll show you then that Riff Frosler is there, largely because Dylan Solomons plays ahead of him. Kaizer Chiefs will also be looking for Saile up front, Pumuzo, because pace of Duplier, yes, but you need to find the goals too. Saile is there.
Saile is there. He's a big boy. He can hold up the ball, bring the midfielder into play. He's got an eye for goal. He's understanding between himself, Saile. 3 goals so far in all competition for Kaizer Chiefs. He's understanding with Dupree is increasing with each game that he plays. But where is he going to get the supply? Yusuf
starts off front because Kemi Erasmus finds the goals, but this season has been really big when it comes to assisting, creating goal-scoring opportunities. Romeo
looks after the ball very well. He can play with his back to goal. He might be small in size, but he's got an eye for that game-changing pass. Today, he starts alongside Zugamanja. What is going to be the shape of Orlando Pirates up top? Zugamanja is there. 6 goals in all competition, Mr. Msibi. But key, 5 of those goals come from the head. That is what Zugamanja brings. The supply would be key, coming from a Saleng in that midfield, coming from a Kabelo Dlamini in that midfield. Pirates are playing with a diamond in that midfield.
Earlier on, to speak to the both coaches, Jose Rivera on the side of Orlando Pirates, Arthur Zwanem on the side of Kaizer Chiefs. Coach Mangete, appreciate your time. This is it, with a bigger twist, a big prize, the Soweto Derby semi-final against Orlando Pirates. Samakose, ready?
Thanks, Mr. Msibi. Yeah, we are forever ready, Mr. Msibi. There's a lot at stake. The players know that. We all know that there's a technical team. So yeah, we're here to make sure that we proceed to the next stage of this tournament.
How have you set up your team tactically for today?
Yeah, look, from the previous game, as you know, we dropped points, and that was a game that was preparing us for this big one. We welcome back Dove, in the squad, who was out, and instead of starting with him we're starting with Samgelo in the middle and Solomons as well, because we obviously want to put them on their back foot, with our front three, and also be able to control the midfield. So if we can win that battle, I think we stand a good chance of creating, goal-scoring opportunities and take them and then be winners at the end of the game.
You've lamented almost always the defensive frailties that your team has shown, and maybe when you're on top, the inability to convert the goal-scoring chances created.
Yeah, to be quite honest, when you look at the stats, the goals that we considered were goals that we gave away, rather than maybe the opposition, unlocking us. There are quite a few where we were destroyed by the oppositions because of maybe not having the balance. But most of the time, we were in good shape. We just made, critical mistakes that were costly. But when you look at on the other end again, the chances that we have created from the beginning of the season until up to now, we haven't been, clinical in front of goals. We're just hoping today we'll keep a clean sheet and be able to convert the chances that we'll create.
Mangete, thank you. Good luck today.
Thank you so much, man.
Coach, appreciate your time. Big moment, big occasion, crucial game.
Like I said, a bit different. It's a knockout game, and we want to push the game in the direction that we want. So that's why we select the 11.
I'm going to push you a little bit. What direction do you want?
To get the lead, hopefully soon. We didn't manage to score a single goal against our opposition in the recent games. So there are things that we need to change, and we're gonna do it. We want to take the initiative in every game, and we will say we are not gonna be a different team today, or that's the intention.
In the previous game, Jose Rivera played, but now I see Kabelo returns. Yusuf Mark.
Like I said, a bit different. It's a knockout game, and we want to push the game in the direction that we want. So that's why we select.
A box-to-box midfielder. He needs to give Kaizer Chiefs the balance in that midfield. Sitebe will sit a little bit deeper to go on the cover. He has got that diagonal pass to be able to find a Solomons that is using his pace, a Dupree that is using his pace. That is his role, to make sure that he circulates the ball. He moves the ball from a pressure area to a non-pressure area. That will be key. His leadership qualities, let's not forget about that. He was a captain at Kukune. His leadership is going to be important because he's so noisy here. Arthur Zwane might not be heard by some of the players, but the senior players would be key.
Well, he's captain as well today. Up front though, Ashley Dupree. Now, we all know about his pace. The criticism has been sometimes then gets opportunities, doesn't really convert. Big stage, he will make those runs. He will get behind the defense.
Main asset.
Today, how does he
His
assist
pace.
Chiefs in that
First
midfield
charge has
against
improved
Munara,
immensely
against Team?
since he got to Kaizer Chiefs. He's playing as goals in all competition, 2 in the net to box midfielder. He wants the space in the eye, balance in the How does he behave? Chebe will sit a little. You take away that space from him to run into that diagonal pass to be able to find a Solomons that is using his pace, a Dupree that is using his pace. That is his role, to make sure that he circulates the ball. He moves the ball from a pressure area to a non-pressure area. That will be key. His leadership qualities, let's not forget about that. He was a captain at Kukune. His leadership is going to be important because it's so noisy here. Atazwani might not be heard by some of the players, but the senior players would be key.
Well, he's captain as well today. Up front, though, Ashley Dupree. Now, we all know about his pace. The criticism has been sometimes then gets opportunities, doesn't really convert. Big stage, he will make those runs. He will get behind the defense.
Main asset is his pace. First touch has improved immensely since he got to Kaizer Chiefs. 9 goals in all competition, 2 in the net and car. He wants the space in behind. How does he behave if you take away that space from him to run into? We saw against Chipa United. He can also play in front of that defense. He scored a stunning goal from long range. That is the asset that he is bringing, actually, to play. Pirates is to be alert. You can't go to sleep when Dupree is on the field of play.
One player who gives this Parents team great balance. He plays on the left. They say dynamite comes in small packages. I'm talking about this man, Pumoto Manager, Paseka Mark.
Buccaneers would be stressed that the captain, Mael, is not available. But they are at ease because of the performance that Marco is given to Orlando Pirates. He will give you that 60-40. But today, he might need to give Orlando Pirates 50-50 because he has got defensive duties to look after Solomons, to look after Dupree. But whenever he goes on the overlap, he's got an eye for a game-changing pass. As we saw him do it when Orlando Pirates played Chipa United. He found Lodge with the pass that dissected 4 or 5 players. That is what Marco brings.
Goal scoring, Terence Zugermanja. You guys have heard even on extra time, he had the goals, how he finds the space. But oftentimes, yes, he finds the space, but he must be found.
You're talking about a striker that will give you the results. You need to give him the service. You need to supply Zugamanja to be able to give you the goals. He has got 6 goals in all competition. 5 comes from the head, Mr. Msivi. It means that Saleng needs to provide those crosses. It means on the overlap, Shandu needs to provide those crosses. Also, he's good with his ball to feed. So Dlamini finds him. Erasmus is there to give him the support today. So that is Zugamanja up top. In the air, he's deadly. In the air, he will punish you, especially in that near post.
Before I let you go, I want to look at the benches. I want to look at the subs because my belief is this game can be won from the bench. There's influential players on either bench. You talk about Shabalala. He's on the bench. You've seen him when he's come on, particularly against Royal AM, how he changed the game positively for Kaizer Chiefs. You look at the Pirates team as well. Even now I see Pule is sitting on the bench. Vincent Pule, he starts on the bench. Couple of key impact players for both these teams on the benches.
You know my history. I come from the development team. I'll go to a 19-year-old on the bench of Kaizer Chiefs, Tutuzi Shabalala. When things were not working out against Royal AM, Matazwani brought Tutuzi Shabalala. He unlocked that defense of Royal AM. He won a penalty. When you look at Orlando Pirates, Shonisa Mashonisa, that's what they call him. A forgotten man to Orlando Pirates. What a platform to come back and announce yourself than in the Soweto Derby. I'm looking at Ule coming off the bench, a forgotten man, to come and announce himself. But I'll also look at a 17-year-old, Mr. Msibi. There's a 17-year-old called Ratomo on the bench of Orlando Pirates. He comes from the VAR. His mom is amongst the crowd to come watch him. So for me, I'm looking at the product of the development team of these 2 teams. Ratomo will change this game when he comes on. Mtutuzi Shabalala will change this team when he comes on. But there is a forgotten man at Kaizer Chiefs. Will Caleb be the forgotten man to come in and change this game? That's the 2 impact players from the bench.
I'm going to release you, Pomoto Manager. Pomoto runs upstairs. The super voices of Super Disc game, they are here. well in English commentary, it's Grant Bissett, alongside Pumuzo Manangere, of course. And then you've got Skotlo Sasupatis Kikasisutu, and Ukwetiza, Uveli Kumalu Mzilkas Gamashobane in a Zulu commentary. Now, the fans are here. There's going to be a delay in kickoff. Latest update, we are expected to kick off 15 minutes after 3 o'clock, largely because of safety and these fans that are still flocking into the stadium. So for safety, for security reasons, we are not going to kick off at 3 o'clock. We are going to kick off, at least for now, it's set for 15 minutes after 3 o'clock. This is the Nedbank Cup. Kiona, back to you, Simply Carol, in our studios in Randburg.
Kiona, it is the one, and everyone wants to make sure that they are in the venue. Everyone else is, of course, tuned in live right here on your World of Champions. So, kickoff delayed. It will now be kicking off at 3:15. Gives us more time as well to really break it down in terms of what is happening in the lineup, what it is that we can expect from these teams individually, and also gives you an opportunity to continue to talk to us. You're doing that on hashtag SSDski in terms of all of your predictions. And this is a matchup that really splits the nation, isn't it, Jimmy? So many of you say, yeah, it's going to be all about the Buccaneers. Many of you say it's going to be about Kaizer Chiefs. Tactically, though, maybe, Jimmy, as you go through what we can expect from the teams, Jimmy and Deko, it can give us a little bit more insight into how it can end.
Okay, I think we'll start with the home team in this instance. We'll start with Kaizer Chiefs. This is how ideally you'd want them to set up when everything else is equal. We're talking group tactics. This is where, for me, Chiefs have to make sure that they have the right balance with Solomons and Frosler. And then you have Saile and Shanti. These are both left-footed players and right-footed players that give you the right balance. However, Chiefs would want to make sure that their group dynamic tactics is spot on by bringing in Frosler, bring Saile back this side, have Solomon be your fullback. Because then what it then does with Saleng hopefully being the one who will operate on the right-hand side for Pirates, these two players can find a way to assist each other when they have to cancel out Pule. But if you have Saile here, it means that Tanti will be the only one who has to deal with Pule in this instance. So you don't want to have a situation where either side finds itself suffering. But for me, in the middle of the park, this is where this trio for me comes into play. This area is going to become very important for Chiefs to make sure that they protect their defense. So that player in Zwane, Sitebe, Mat become very important for Chiefs in the build-up and also on the defensive part of it. Because I'll tell you why I'm saying that. When Pirates push Erasmus up and Jugamanja up, it means that if Chiefs are able to play out of these areas quicker, they've cancelled out two players from Pirates in Jugamanja and Erasmus, meaning that the load now becomes heavy for Monare team and Dlamini, whom Dlamini is not really his strongest part in terms of defense. So I think when you look at how Chiefs can set up, they can change his formation as the game progresses.
All right. Do you agree, Deko? Please comment on that and also go into what we can expect from the Buccaneers.
Yeah, let me go to Buccaneers first.
Yeah.
Carol, I'll come back to what Jimmy has said. I think with the Orlando Pirates, I think they're going to struggle because they're going to have a little bit of imbalance on the left-hand side because of now they're playing with Erasmus and Jugamanja. So you can expect probably Jugamanja being the one that tops. And Kemet with his assist, the way he controls the ball, the way he interacts with the players, he can play that number 10 role very, very well. But there's the man that you'll be expecting to see these runs when Jugamanja drops in. When Jugamanja drops in, maybe to interplay, and then you want Saleng to be able to get those long balls, whether from team, whether from Dlamini. He wants to make those deep runs. But yet again, defensively, yes, where they're going to struggle because Dlamini is not one of the strongest players defensively, so it's going to require Kimi to come back into the midfield. We know Saleng can do that, but then here's the isolation for Kaizer Chiefs that can actually manipulate. This is the area where Marco now plays. He's the only player that plays on the left-hand side. But now that's going to require now, if ever there is an issue here with Marco defending here, which means Tolkien needs to be out of position. Tim is not a player that can slot in and help defensively, so it forces now Sibisi to be here. That's when now Saile, your Dupreus can actually enjoy in this type of space. But in terms of attack, I think Orlando Pirates do have the players that can cause problems. Jukamanje in and around the box, where he'll be isolated with Dover and Ngezana. But here's the main man. If he's on song, if he wants to play Kemet Erasmus, he can be deadly on the day. But then again, Dlamini needs to be a supportive act into that. Maybe play as a 2-10s. Team Monare here, Saleng will forever be the danger man on the right-hand side. But I think, like I said earlier on, this is the space that Orlando Pirates don't have anybody to be able to occupy on. But then it requires a lot of Marco. We've seen Marco doing this. Amakujak Dalado said donkey work.
Yeah.
He does this a lot. No problem with Marco. But then again, for how long is he going to be able to do that? And also, is Kaizer Chiefs will be able to realize and see that there is an opportunity actually on the right-hand side where Solomons is expected to play, where Saile maybe might be the one that starts there. I think earlier, the sooner the better. That's where probably maybe they can actually help Orlando Pirates.
Set plays, penalties, is that something that goes into the planning as well, seeing as this is a cup game?
Ahead of the game, there's a lot of preparations into that. But you then look at who cancels who out on set pieces. Players like Santi, you'd want them on the offensive to be there, defensively also. Players like Dove. On the opposite side, you have Koki, Sibisi, whom we are counting on. But when you look in terms of the height, you don't really have a lot of tall players there. So your standard situations means that your setup has to be proper to nullify your weaknesses, in the sense that you don't have height in the box. I mean, when you look at the height defensively on Marco's side, you'd want to capitalize on set pieces so that you are able to then get players who are a bit taller, a bit more aggressive to be inside the box. So the game calls for that even on standard situations, it can be won and lost through that.
All right, so you see, these two gents here are giving a lot of mental fodder to really try and ascertain as to how this one is going to finish up. Lots of moving parts here. We did, of course, hear that there is going to be a delay in the kickoff, 3:15, but let's just get confirmation from the horse's mouth, as it were, as we go back to Soccer City. Hey, Pooms.
Thank you so much, Simply Carol. Welcome back to the FNB Stadium. I'm joined now by the match commissioner, Mr. George Budum. I understand you already have the latest update for us. What is the update?
The VOC commander has informed us that it is safe. The 15-minute delay will hold. We will start the match at 3:15.
So the delay is for 15 minutes.
Yes, the delay is for 15 minutes due to a large contingent of supporters outside the stadium trying to gain entry into the stadium. Right now, the commander has informed us it is relatively safe to start the match in 15 minutes' time.
Mr. Budo, the fans that are outside the stadium are fans with tickets, so they're coming through the turnstiles even as we speak.
Yes, that is correct. They are coming through the turnstiles. There's not much pressure outside, so we can safely start with all the safety aspects taken care of.
This information behind us, the teams are still warming up, has been passed on to both football clubs, yes?
Yeah, the warming has been increased right up to 5-3. They'll come off and then we'll kick off spot on at 3:15.
Thank you so much, George Budu. That's the match commissioner. Even as it says, at 2:3, the teams will come off. It's 2:3. They are coming off. We are set up to kick off at 15 minutes after 3 o'clock. Back to you, Simply Carol, in our studios in Randburg.
Sabon Pumlani, just for giving us that update. So 3:15, it is almost time, of course, for kickoff. Just making sure that all of the fans are in the venue and that they are safe and ready for kickoff of that clash. Remember, it is sold out fair. Let's remind you about a big event that's coming to your screens in June, courtesy of DSTV. Shaga Ilembe. There's been a lot of talk about this one. One of the most highly anticipated events on screen.
Yeah.
kabi ngisho esibelethweni sami.
Wena ungowamakhosi. Abasendulo
Wafika isanusi sizokuzwa
wobabe noma landela abanawo.
safike sathi kuzalwa impunga enkulu. Ukuthi impela yafika intombi oseba namandla. Izizwe ziyobuthana.
South African athletics season. Run with us on Supersport on DSTV. It's modern art, Serie A, live and in HD. Only on Supersport on DSTV.
A spot in the CAF Champions League final is up for grabs as the kings of the continent collide. The mighty Masanguana travel north to storm Morocco's Red Castle. Can the South Africans take control in Casablanca, or will the home side stand firm? Watch the continent's greatest in the first leg semi-finals live on Supersport. Stay connected to DSTV.
Select your best African Premier League player of all time. Go to supersport.com/Africa11 to vote.
Yo, yeah, my boy. A cup competition like no one can ever come. I'm not saying to play game. Yo, nah, yeah, my boy.
The only broadcaster that gives you all the drama and the spectacle of the Nedbank Cup live on Supersport. Now available on DSTV Access.
In South Africa, that one thing that makes the commentary and the game unique is the different cultures, the different languages.
All cultures, all shapes, all sizes. You can be as rich as you want, as poor as you want. There's a spot for you in a rugby team.
I will never forget the images that we saw when we came back from Japan. Even now, what I'm speaking, I get goosebumps when I think about those images that we saw back in those days.
That opened my eyes to like so much bigger, that actually how much support and how much like great boy effect, just being part of the Springboks as on the country.
I remember saying this is a team that celebrates its difference and its diversity, and which has used it as a powerful force for success. And it's true.
Yeah, just a reminder to send through your greatest Premier League players from the African continent. We want to know who is your Africa 11. Scan this barcode or go to supersport.com and make your submissions. And when it comes to the greatest adversaries on the African continent, this is the lineup today. It is the Soweto Derby, the Nedbank Cup semi-final clash. Just too much that is at stake. A rundown once again, Jimmy, in terms of the lineup.
A good lineup. Very, I wouldn't say really attack-minded, but I think it's the right balance.
Okay.
Enough cover at the back. If you start with 4, that is Chiefs, and have your 3 outlets in Dupree, inside there, and look for the late one to join wherever the attack is coming from. So I think in terms of the setup, it looks balanced at this point.
Yeah, I think with the lineup part, maybe we can also start looking at the bench as well as to what can happen probably in the second half. We know Kemi Erasmus hardly finishes the game, so therefore who are you probably looking at to come and finish the game? You have Vincent Pule coming back from injury. We saw Ratomo, a very young player, that played very, very well during the week, but also you have Hoto that scored previously. Londa that might come into that midfield to help in case of emergency, but also Evanga. I think he had a brilliant game against Royal AM. He showed so much enthusiasm. Maybe it might be.
Yeah, if you're just joining us on your World of Champions and wondering why aren't we watching live action, of course, from Soccer City, it's because we're waiting for this to become a full arena. Yeah, it is sold out. A lot of fans still making their way in. They're outside, so kickoff now is 3:15. So we've got 15 minutes to go, just under 15 minutes to go until kickoff. Now, let's look a little deeper in terms of that lineup and talk about the standout individuals. Kaizer Chiefs.
It is going to take a lot of defensive discipline and organization and being able to play in a big moment and stay focused. And I think a player who's been under siege for me is this player in picture, Gezana. He's a player who's got a big heart in terms of the fight, but he's going to need to remain calm throughout the game. He'll be tasked to mark players like Tuka Manja and sometimes Kemet when he drops in. So his tactical discipline becomes very key. He can be a match winner for Chiefs also on standard situations. I see him scoring on one of these games.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think he's maturing. I think he used to be the player that causes too many fouls and unnecessary, but now you can see the maturity that he has because of also the game time. So it'll be very tricky for him. He needs to stay calm, like Jimmy said, very concentrated, because you're defending against the tricky players, very sharp players, so you need to be very, very calm in that defense.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you bring in that personal story as well, because it's just the kind of encounter where these personal stories and personal battles get to develop. Let's talk about Uzwan.
The future of the Chiefs engine and the fact that coach has shown confidence and believe in him in a game of this magnitude. It shows the quality there is. I love his calmness on the ball. I love his technique. I love the fact that he's not fazed by the occasion.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's able to vary his game. He's got a very good long pass. He's got a very good short pass. Very composed on the ball. I just don't want him to lose a lot of possession when he's not under pressure. And I think that is one element of his game where I think he can work on. If you are not under pressure, you have no reason to be losing possession.
Oh, so player big head on young shoulders. Let's talk the Buccaneers.
I mean, the Buccaneers, you have Thabo Munari. In the beginning of the season, this was a guy that was maybe not in the books, wasn't supposed to be used. And look at also the first round of the league, he wasn't used as much. Come this 2023 calendar, I mean, he's been very pivotal in that midfield. The right balance between him and Tim. Defensively, he enjoys doing that. He enjoys the grafting job, and that also allows Tim to be able to be more creative, to be the one that actually starts the play. So he's very, very important into that midfield. He gives the license to attackers.
Yeah, no, solid player, and I must say, the player in picture now. He gives them the pace, he gives them the width, but most importantly, he gives them the confidence on the ball, because he's one of those players who can get a goal for you at any given time. So he, for us, is a key player, purely based on current, he's the player in form or on form for Orlando Pirates. And you need a player like him in this particular encounter.
Yeah.
And I think, Carol, what's important for Saleng's game today is you look at the two previous derbies, he hasn't performed well. And I think it's very key. It is important today to show up and actually deliver what it's supposed to do. And I think it is the big game. It's one of those games that can actually set him apart. It is as it is apart from the rest of the Orlando Pirates players. But he needs to be present in today's game.
Yeah, Moshe Mule, what we saw, the Pirates better score now while the game is still delayed. Because once the game starts, they will not get a chance on #SSDski. Your prediction? That's
I would go with the home team. I think Chiefs stand a chance of winning this game.
okay.
I'll go with that away team. I think the away team stands a chance in this game.
I like the balance here in the studio. Keep sending them through to us. Listen, is going to be the biggest and most certainly this season, the most important Soweto derby that we are going to witness. Way too much that is at stake. Kaizer Chiefs looking to reach their 20th Nedbank Cup final. Orlando Pirates looking to get to an 18th Nedbank Cup final. I mean, look at the history between these two sides, and this competition, doesn't get bigger than this.
We all love game day. But sometimes life just doesn't play ball. There are some things you can control. With Sporting Bet, you can cash out your bets before your luck turns. Sporting Bet, the cash out kings.
I'm still warming up.
I am still gonna raise the roof.
Not for persons under the age of 18. To grill the perfect steak, you start with the perfect steak and age it 21 days till it's really tender. Our master grillers are trained in the art of fire and steak on grills that were made to grill steak, flame searing the flavor in at 350 degrees. That's what makes us the steak, ribs, and burger people. Spur, people with a taste for life.
Victories come in many forms. So let's celebrate them all. The all-new Toyota Vitz for victory.
The Premier Soccer League proudly presents the Nedbank Cup. Dynamic, exhilarating. The Nedbank Cup. The Nedbank Cup. The one.
Live from the nation's cathedral of football on a cloudy but temperate Saturday afternoon in the city of gold. A rivalry forged decades ago, now an unmatched South African sporting spectacle every time the Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates cross paths. And today, the stakes are raised with a spot in the Nedbank Cup final on the line. Well, a very warm welcome from what is a cauldron of noise. Soccer City, the stage for derby number 178. Fate has seen fit to bless the nation with another Soweto showdown this season as the famous foes collide in the semi-finals of the Nedbank Cup. Well, passions were ignited across the land when the draw was made 3 weeks ago, and even in a week where league drama reached fever pitch, this was the fixture that hogged the headlines. Without a doubt, the hottest ticket in town, the derby was sold out more than 24 hours prior to kickoff. The magnitude of this meeting cannot be overstated. This is so far South Africa's must-watch match of 2023. Nothing yet this year has had higher stakes than this. Now that's the trophy that they covered. Listen to the noise as the players make their way out. Let's just soak it in for a moment. Well, incredible scenes. And we know what is on the line. And for Kaizer Chiefs, whose form has waned in recent weeks, this is a season-defining fixture. The agonizing wait for silverware stretches back almost 8 years. They're no longer in contention for second spot in the DSTV Prem, whilst third seems a bridge too far as well. How Amakosi reflect back upon this campaign could very well hinge on this afternoon's outcome. Well, let's look at their lineup. 4 changes for Kaizer Chiefs from the side that lost in the league against Swallows. Brandon Peterson returns from suspension in place of Itumeleng Khune. Edmilson Dobe has shaken up a knock and takes the place of Jabula Ngobo on defense. Meanwhile, Du Shabalala and Happy Mashiani drop to the benches. Dylan Solomons and Samkelo Zwane are reintroduced. Fumutu Manenje, former Buccaneer who's taken part in 4 derbies himself, has scrutinized the Kaizer Chiefs lineup. Here it is.
In goal, they've got Peterson, 10 clean sheets in all competitions. It's going to be very important. At the back, they welcome Dove in the centre back. His leadership qualities will be important. They are playing with 2 and then 3 in front of goals. The Martins, Cheve will be very important. But Zwane has got the key role today of ball rotation and ball circulation. The pace of Solomon, the pace of Dufree. What are they looking for? They are looking to feed that man up top, which is Saile, 3 goals in all competitions so far.
Well, Zwane will be important. He was an unused sub in February. This is a huge day for the 21-year-old. His first derby. Let's look at their opponents. Miguel Temakavilas Lamini returned from suspension. 5 players survived from the much-changed lineup that Pirates fielded for their midweek league obligation against Royal AM. Retaining their places are Marco and Erasmus, as well as Bandi Lishandu, who has played his way into the team, having not started for 2.5 months prior to the previous outing. He gets his chance, with Marco staying left to accommodate the absence of Innocent Mayela.
In goal, they start with Zipa Chaina, 6 clean sheets in all competition. Very comfortable with playing with his feet. You're looking at Rivero going to a back 4 now at Orlando Pirates. Marco at left back and Shandu at right back. They will be looking to those players to add a numerical advantage going forward. The 3 in midfield, key. Munari will sit, Team will join now and then. Zamini will play that 10 role. But up front, they've got 2 strikers for the first time this season. 6 goals in all competitions, Zugamanja, 3 goals in all competition, Erasmus, 14 goals in all competition. That is Saleng. Pirates set up with a 4-3-3 formation.
Now the Orlando Pirates already have silverware to their name this season. They clinched the MTN 8 title last year. It's been over a decade since they won 2 cups in the same campaign. But the strength of their recent run has seen expectations elevated as fans yearn for a return to the trophy-laden eras of yesteryear. So Amovile Tom consults with the 2 captains. The 31-year-old from Cape Town is overseeing his 3rd derby. He'll be assisted by Zakeli Siwela and Khara Mokwena. Cedric Mubani is the 4th official. Tapela Koki skippers the sides with Innocent Mayela out, whilst Yusuf Mart has the captain's armband for Kaizer Chiefs. Arthur Zwane, elevated from the club's academy coach, a legend in his playing days. He has not always found the going easy this season, but he has the edge in the derby stakes with 2 league wins over Pirates. Another and a trip to the Nedbank Cup final will help alleviate some of the pressure that is on him at the moment. Now his first season in South Africa in football, an unequivocal success. The Spaniard Jose Villero will be eager to reward his employers with another trophy after they plucked him from the relative obscurity of Finnish football to give him an opportunity at one of the biggest teams love and peace sign. They get quite the reception here at Soccer City, FNB Stadium. The skull and crossbones of Orlando Pirates returned in kind by their supporters. It's always a massive occasion, the derby. But when one side can progress to a final at the expense of the other, this tie is imbued with even greater significance. So we are underway. Two football dynasties, the gold and black of Bafeni, the black and white of Orlando, shared disdain, perhaps a begrudging respect, many mutually held ambitions, the latest of which sees them go toe-to-toe in pursuit of cup glory.
Jules, I'm interested in Solomon's